Welcome to Work the Left Side. We are here to not talk about True Grit. That was a TV taping. I don't want to deal with spoilers, so we're not talking about True Grit. We are talking about Friday Night Pursuit instead, which happened last Friday. And I am hyper hyped to be joined by the returning Big Boppa. Sir, are you good? Dude?
I'm great, yeah.
Awesome. And first time on Work the Left Side, it's the almighty SledgeBro. It is Brody. Dude, how are we doing?
I'm doing very good, thank you.
Great. Obviously, thank you both for coming along. I thought I was going to have to sit here and talk just by myself to the camera. Nobody wants that. So I'm very happy that you joined me, as it means that I'm not just sat here talking to myself for 30 minutes. So obviously, Pursuit doing what Pursuit does. You were both in attendance. Spoiler alert, was it a good show?
It really was. From start to finish, every match delivered in its own unique type of way. You had candy cane thumbtacks. You had comedy wrestling from the most entertaining UK tag team, which is Lallie. You had my hero, the GOAT, the legend himself, Trent Seven, doing what he does best against George Hunter, the most impressive wrestler I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah.
And the main event had a shocking ending.
Big shout. Well, what I was going to say, actually, before we go into this, well, obviously we can talk about matches. I said about spoilers, with the True Grit thing, that's not quite as bad for this, but we are aware. Actually, you know what? No, we'll talk about it. We're filming this on a Monday. Pursuit have said that they're going to put the show up on their YouTube on Tuesday. So what I'll just do is I'll hold off uploading this until sort of Wednesday. So we can talk about results. We can talk about everything. We won't spoil it. It'll have been on YouTube for 24 hours. And everybody will have watched it anyway. So it's all good. So Big Boppa, I know Brody enjoyed it. You enjoy it?
Yeah, very much so. What I'll say is you can tell we all three of us enjoyed it. We're all sat there repping the merch. We're obviously smiling because of that, weren't we? So yeah, I think for me, obviously I'm a big PPW massive support. I love going down there, but Nathan and Liam's vision, they know what they want to do, man, and the levels and even without some of the big stars and that they've got flying around the world, they're still putting it out there and putting the big massive shows on. And I agree what Brody said. Some of the matches he's called out there. The one for me that stood out for me were the obviously Trent Seven and Hunter. For me, it were icing on the cake. It definitely. I fully enjoyed my evening anyway, and so did my kids.
Good. That's what's important. That's the key thing, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned the talent there, around the world. Obviously, you guys know more about what goes on there into the planning and stuff. I'm just purely on this side. But if Liam was, if I take it from based on what Liam was sort of saying. Maybe the original plans were that Leon Slater was going to be the ring announcer. Obviously, he couldn't do it. He had quite a big match this weekend. So, in steps Ethan Allen, one half of the Young Guns, one half of the greatest tag teams in Europe, if not the world at the minute. So, yeah, Ethan just turns up and just like, yeah, mate, it's fine. I'll do ring announcing for you. It's boggling.
Nailed it, didn't he? Nailed it. You couldn't ask for any more. He got us popping, got us up there, and nailed it. I thought the lighting guy did a good job. I don't know if you know who he was.
Nope.
Well, it was my son.
Oh wow! Massive shout out. Yeah,
did a good job.
Kudos to. But yeah, well, I mean, we mentioned, Lallie. We'll sort of look at the first match. Obviously, they'd announced. That's the thing as well. Going into this show, they'd only announced that Holly Barlow and Rhio, they were the only two talents that had been kind of announced to appear. So everybody was kind of going into this from a fan's perspective, we were kind
Yeah.
of going into it, not knowing what to expect. And yeah, first match, the two announced talents basically, but on either side of the ring with tag team partners. So we got Lallie, Lana Austin, and Holly Barlow versus Rhio, and the 21st liability, that is Natalie Sykes. And, if you're going to start a show off, geez, this just got everything. From the first moment, from Holly stepping into the ring, incurring the wrath of Nathan by doing Nathan Black impressions and sighs, to just everything in that match was just on point.
Delivered. Come on, Brody, you tell us your view.
Yeah. From what I've seen, I've only seen Lallie a couple of times on the highlight reels, but they are pretty entertaining. I remember a funny bit where Holly was getting pretty much battered by Rhio, and I said to Lana, why aren't you helping her? And then she chirped back with, because I don't like her. I went, oh.
I think she protests too much. I think she does a little bit. But Holly doesn't do herself any favours when she says that Lana is old. That incurred the wrath of Lana. It became a thing on one point. And for the record, Lana is not old. I'll just like to say.
No. I've got the grey hairs. It's me that's old.
Why do you think I wear this?
Yeah.
I'm only joking. There's no grey there. But I've had a good life. Yeah, obviously Rhio is, again, you guys kind of know, Rio's not somebody that I used to associate with Pursuit, but I know she's there a lot now. I know she does a lot of sort of, I've seen it kind of advertised on the socials and everything like that. She seems to be a regular at Pursuit now. You guys can verify that for me, or am I just way off the mark?
Yeah, she is. I've seen her training a lot recently at Pursuit Pro Wrestling. She did a skit with Charles Crowley, where Charles tried to get the upper hand on her, but Rio's power was just too much. I've also seen Rhio on Rev Pro. In fact, I've watched her this weekend face off against Mercedes Monet, and she's a workhorse in that ring. She puts on 5-star matches. If you need someone good, bring Rhio.
It's a known fact. Rhio doesn't have bad matches. It's been said on here before by Dan when we talked about True Grit and stuff. It's implausible. Rhio doesn't have bad matches. It's just not even in the multiverse. There's no universe or no world where that would ever happen. So guaranteed. You want a good match. You want to start a show. Like I sort of said, you don't get better than these four really, just for the chemistry. Obviously Natalie as well is another sort of Pursuit OG. She's been around for a while.
I thought she nailed the gimmick really well. I thought she, the comedy element of it, with obviously with a phone and that. I think she did it justice, and I thought kept us all entertained. And for an opening bout, I thought it definitely hit the brief and did exactly what it needed to do and get us up there, get us cheering, get us ready for a good evening of solid, entertaining wrestling. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. I mean, it set the bar. They all sort of say that's what the first match should do. It sets the bar. It sets the fans' expectations. You know what to expect. And I'm not going to actually go into the results. We can talk about the matches without doing the results as much on some of them. So, obviously, if you haven't watched this on YouTube yet, go watch it. It'll be on there by the time you watch this. Awesome match. Four of the best female wrestlers and 4 of the best wrestlers in the country, regardless. So put them all in the ring together. Jobs are good. But this was followed by Brody. I'm going to let you take this because of obviously who was
followed
in the
by
ring.
Trent 7 versus George Hunter. If I can describe this match in one word, it would be a complete chop fest. All I'm going to say.
Poor George's chest, man.
I'm trying to find a hat so I can take my hat off because I ain't got one here. I normally have a hat, and I normally can take it off because it definitely, levels and that. And for me, I mean, we talk about George Hunter and what an exciting talent he is, but on the same token, Trent 7, he just showed what a pro he was, and he give him so much. But even just the little expressions, I learned so much from watching him. you know, and I'm not, you know, I like, obviously I'm a fan, but obviously me and you, Brody, had a bit of a face off with the bidding war, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know,
We
with
did.
the bidding war. I think we'll have to sort that out next time. We'll cut each other's in on that so we don't go too high. But
Yeah.
I was impressed with him, and I just thought you could see that he commanded the match, but George just did everything he had to do. But I just thought some of the things he did with his, like the expressions on his face and the little bits of timing and you know, some of the way it flowed. You know, the way he interacted with the crowd. You know, when he got slapped and he did that with his face. And everybody just played, and just little things like that. Do you know what I mean? Just shows you that he's a pro. You know,
They had us right here, basically.
100%.
Both guys. Obviously, Trent is Trent. You know, anybody and everybody knows Trent, not just from the UK scene, but you know, when him, Tyler, and Pete or Butch, whatever name he's going by nowadays, you know, we're tearing it up in NXT and NXT UK, and then tearing it up, you know, on the main roster. It's just Trent Seven is, you know, one of the godfathers of British wrestling now. He is that highly regarded. He is that good. And this is the first time I've actually got to see him do his thing in person. And mate, it was beautiful. It was just like watching, you know, artwork being made, painting being done. You know, it was like the 16th chapel of British wrestling. It was just awesome. And George, you know, like you sort of said, you know, it's one of those matches where you're just a better wrestler for being in the ring. And George probably that was invaluable. That's just made him, as great as he was before, George is just so much better now because of that match.
Yeah, it really elevated George's stock as a wrestler, because I was going into it and I was surprised by the matchup of like George Hunter, Trent Seven. Let's see where this goes, and it didn't disappoint. And if I was to say one thing, it's that Hunter's corner slingshot Phoenix Splash, whatever it is, it's very beautiful. It's a beautiful maneuver.
Yes. I don't know what anybody else is calling it. I refer to it as the Buckshot 450. I don't know if that's.
That's the one.
That's it. I saw it on the socials earlier. I think there was about 5 names for it at one point. You know, on the Pursuit socials earlier. And I was like, that's just. It's the unnameable move. It's just that good. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys, you know, because obviously Liam kind of hinted at it. Like, you know, as I said, they announced Holly, they announced Rhio. And Liam was like, well, if you've been following the socials, you might be able to guess who else is here. And obviously, yeah, Trent had the seminar, the training seminar this week. I know, Boppa, you've sort of said, obviously, you know, you do more with the one-on-one stuff because of outside, you know, responsibilities and stuff. You're not always able to get there. But did either of you get to the Trent 7 seminar?
I did.
Yeah.
And it was a learning experience I'll never forget. I'll say that much, because he was going over the physicality in wrestling from where his experiences of training in WWE, in the Florida, the big leagues. He was just going over to us about how sometimes in wrestling, physicality counts, because if you've got an audience member and if your start of the match looks a bit meh, they're going to go like, oh, not sure I'm liking this, and not going to get a good fan base. So, yeah, it was fun.
Hence the chops on poor George. You know, that showed the physicality, that showed the stiffness and the legitimacy of the blows. Poor George. Every time I think about it now, I just kind of have to go like this. I'm just like, poor George.
He took it well, though, didn't he?
He did. Took it like a star, man. We even got Hunter Mania. We got Hunter Mania at one point. We was just like, come on.
Yeah, Uncle. Yeah, a bit of Mania. Do you know how hard it is to Hulk up?
Well, we was talking about this. Boppa, we talked about this on your... Yeah, we talked about this on your episode.
Yeah, and it's something I work on, and because, you know, like I said, I spoke to, obviously I did it on the episode, but he did it really, I thought he did it really well, because I can do it my own way, but to do it like this sort of thing and do it your own, you've got to, it's something you've got to work on.
Yeah.
100%. You got to
You've
get
got
in
to make
the,
it
in
your
the
own,
groove.
haven't you, as well?
Yeah, you got to get in the groove because
Yeah, right.
you can. You know, there's times where I think I feel a bit silly here, but yeah, when you get into it and you do it, and you do it enough, you get loose with it.
Yeah.
And he certainly nailed it, didn't he? So,
Dude.
you know, he did really well. But he took a whooping, didn't he? He took some. There was some nice red marks across his chest and on his back and all that. But I can't, you know, praise it enough in regards, like I said before. We had a great first out opening match, and then the bar raised again.
Yeah,
You know, I wouldn't like to follow it.
well, we'll get to that in a second. But I just want to say, obviously, you know, I'm talking to you guys, and you know, you both train Pursuit. You're both associated with Pursuit, but that's how good this match was. That's how good this whole show was. You know, the fact that you was able to sit back and just enjoy it as fans. Because if you're involved in training and involved, you know, on the other side of the curtain, that must be the hardest thing to do sometimes. Is just to be able to sit back, relax, and just switch on that fan mode and just be like, you know what, I'm just loving this. Yeah, as a fan. You're not sat there critiquing it. You're not sat there taking notes. You're not sat there as a student. You just sat there as a fan.
Yeah, it's not the easiest feeling in the world.
No.
Because you get that adrenaline in you when you're training and you see others train. You're forced to sit back. You're like, I want to get in there. I want to get in there. That gut feeling tells you we are not ready yet. Maybe another time, but we're not up to that level of professionalism yet.
I mean, I'll say this to you, Brody. I don't look there and go, oh, I need to get in there. I feel, you know, maybe I'm a bit too old to be doing some of the stuff that they're doing. But I would like to think I could have a go at some of it. But for me, you know, I'll leave it to you young guys for that sort of hunger type thing. But, you know, definitely, you know.
Yeah. We're trying to keep the balance.
Well, yeah, that's how good it was, though. You was able to just watch it as fans and enjoy it, you know, enjoy it for what it was, kind of thing.
I think for me, that's, you know, I think refreshing wise, you know, obviously I've done a few Planet shows and I've done a bit of True Grit and stuff like that. I've done some shows, but like you say, just to be able to relax and watch a really, really good show. Because I won't be honest with you, I paid some I paid some decent bucks to watch it as well, but I knew it were going to deliver because I know that's what Nathan and that's what Liam. They wouldn't deliver anything out second best. They wouldn't 100%. So it were worth me to book an hotel. It were worth me to pay that little bit of extra money, and I support it 100. And what they're doing, and how they do it, I support it 100%. It's a really, really good thing what they did. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go into all ins and outs, but even my son, he did a bit of lighting and he got a cut, and it was great. He were made up by it. Do you know what I mean? Everybody got a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
That's awesome. Nice. That's cool.
Nailed it.
That's the thing as well. Obviously, again, you know, it was a free show. You know, obviously they sort of said if you want to donate something, you can do it. If you can't or you don't, that's fine as well. You know, money can be tight, especially this time of year. But if you can donate, awesome. Do this, that, and the other kind of thing. Buy some merch, support the wrestlers. It was all left to the fans to be, you know, for them to make that choice. And I know myself and my mate Ian, who thankfully drove me there. So thank you, Ian, just on camera. You know, I bought this. I put some money in the bucket. Ian bought the Trent 7, you know, towel. He bought the version of this. You know, he put some money in the bucket. It was just like, you know what? How could we not? You know, it's just, yeah, fully deserved.
Well, I think, you know, as a model, you can go, well, it's a bit risky, but yeah, you can see that from you know, the first one to this one now. They're gonna go. Obviously, the first one was a success. You know, this one was a success, and people are going, all right, we'll work for so-called free, and we'll see what we get at the end of the show, and it's working. Do you know what I mean? So they're not saying that you're gonna get a fee, blah blah blah. They're gonna work till the end of the show and find out how much, but they know for the fact that they're guaranteed they're gonna. It's a worthy show to be part of, even if it's a risk to take. But in my mind, the risk is paying off.
Definitely. It's worth it tenfold. It kind of reminds me of the old school from what I used to read about the olden days, like the 70s and the 60s territories. A wrestler would get a cut at the gate. They didn't have booking fees. They're just like, well, how much money have we made tonight? Right, cool. There's everybody's slice of the pie kind of thing. So it's a bit like that. But yeah, you just said though, how do we follow George Hunter versus Trent Seven? I'll tell you how we follow it. We've got Max Elf and Uncle Deathmatch himself, B.A. Claus, in just sweet carnage. It was just from the get-go. Jack Maxwell coming out in that costume. I love Jack. Jack's amazing. He's one of these guys that should be everywhere, as far as I'm concerned. He's just got his character down. His facial expressions, everything. And he legitimately looked just really annoyed, which just made it 10 times funnier.
You talk about Maxwell, and he's another guy that's gone from, he's just burst on the scene and he's just taking it in his stride, and he's getting booked all over the place because, like you say, he's got these characteristics, he's got his facial expressions, he nails it down to a T, and that's what these promoters are wanting. They want characters, they want someone who can wrestle, but they want that something else, and obviously, Jack Maxwell's can bring that. Do you know what I mean? Especially, what was it? I mean, they were Grinch type for this time, wasn't he? So, and he definitely filled that brief, didn't he?
Exactly. He just looked angry. Brody, obviously, it's a Christmas time. It should be fun. It should be festive. And then, yeah, like I sort of said, we just get that moody Jack Elf, Max Elf, and what do you think to this one?
It was very fun, to say the least. I'll go on the record and say I'm a fan of hardcore matches.
Yep.
So this one instantly had me hooked. Seeing Jack Maxwell come out in an elf costume definitely got a laugh out of me. Because it just goes to show you how underrated he is. Even if he's playing a serious character with the tie, or if he's playing like something goofy with the elf, he can just make it work. And that just goes to show you how good he really is. As B.A. Claus is just B.A. Claus. Yes.
Did you enjoy your present, Brody?
It wasn't me who got the present. It was my nephew Harry.
Oh, what it?
Who got it? I was checking it. He was looking at it like, "What? Do I open this yet?"
Yeah.
And when he opened it, he was like, "Oh, it's a baking tray." Yeah. And then Beer took over his hand, smacked Max on it. I'm like, "Yes, this is fun."
Yeah. And they definitely give him it and all. It definitely warped, didn't it?
Yeah.
It definitely buckled.
It's just the noise, isn't it? When he cracks it, just that noise it makes. It's just.
What about the Christmas baubles?
Yeah, those were fun little tax stuff as well. I wasn't expecting those. I was like, "What's gonna happen? Does falling on a bauble hurt you?" And I soon realised that it does. I even took one for myself as when BA and Jack were coming out, and they slammed in all the baubles scattered everywhere. I was like, "I'll be taking this. I've got that same bauble on my tree now." So a little token from the show.
Yeah.
And you got like a Trent 7 Christmas decoration as well.
Yep.
Yes. I know I saw that on the socials before. I was like, that's awesome. I love it. Little cartoon Trent. But yeah, and then obviously B.A. Rose pulled out the candy cane board instead of. I've seen different incarnations of it. I've seen cans cut in half. Obviously, we've seen barbed wire. We've seen drawing pins. But this was the candy cane board of horror, shall we say. In this kind of a match, obviously I sort of said, Jack Maxwell is awesome. There's very few as good that I've ever seen as B.A. Rose in this kind of a match. He can just have these matches in his sleep and he makes it look effortless.
Yeah, definitely. It's for a fact you're in for a treat when he walks out that curtain, especially if he's in the Santa suit. It just adds that little bit of just a little bit of cream on the top, doesn't it? Sort of thing, a little bit of spice. But he definitely, again, he definitely delivered what we expect of him. Definitely wowed us. The little Christmas present stuff. I thought just to give it that little bit more, a bit of a quick Christmas twist, but it certainly add to the fun and the entertainment. And well done them two guys for putting on a great show.
Exactly, and that's exactly what was needed after that Trent George match. It was a change of pace. It was a totally different match type. Nobody was trying to compete with the previous one. This was like, look, this is what we do. We're not competing. This is just it's different. It's as good in its own right. It's awesome, and again, it just shows. I've talked about Maxwell, how great he is, but it shows the layers to B.A. Rose, the fact that he can do the deathmatch stuff and just go out there and just be brutal and horrific. But then he's also got this side of him as well, where he can interact with the audience, he can interact with the fans. He can have a 90s Attitude Era hardcore match as well, kind of thing. And he can do, obviously, family shows. So, yeah, I love this match. I just thought both guys on point.
Definitely.
It was the interval time, so we kind of they needed to sweep up the ring, clear out all the baubles, the candy canes, and everything else that had been left amok. But this is where we kind of wandered around, bought some merch, had a few drinks, and then we came back and we got a pure wrestling match, which makes me very happy. I love this style. I know this kind of style splits people. Some people like it, some people don't. They get bored by it, or they just can't take their eyes off of it. But yeah, gentleman Jim McGuire versus Liam Slater. Big Boppa, you was on about Liam, obviously having one-to-ones with Liam. I'll let you take the lead on this one. Just
you can just see that. I mean, from a wrestler's point of view, and from an old guy, getting up in the morning on a Saturday morning and watch a bit of watching a bit of wrestling on a Saturday morning. This is what I used to, free counts and stuff like that. And I just thought, when I knew it was going to happen, and when I asked Liam, I said, Liam, what are you having a match? And he told me he couldn't have picked a better guy than Jim McGuire for me. Just even the look and the way that he presents himself, he totally for me. Like every match, what we said has been different, and that again, yeah. I don't think you could have put another match before the main event that was the right time for it, the right spot. And for me, I enjoyed it. I can see people getting a bit maybe not understanding it, but I think for me, the people who haven't maybe understood it is maybe watch it again,
yeah,
and then understand it a little bit better there. But for me, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the confusion and obviously the ringing of the time and all that sort of thing. And definitely, yeah. What about you, bro? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I'd say this match was really interesting to me because I was trying to understand what the rules were of like the time counts from my time watching NXT UK with the Heritage Cups when they had the 5-minute breaks, and I wasn't disappointed by the match at all. It was just a technical masterpiece.
Yeah,
just Coach and Gentleman Jim doing what they do best, locking up and just being masters of how to break the human body.
Human pretzels.
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, that's what this is. It's like I say, it's human chess. It's just that kind of like, you got 3 5-minute rounds. You kind of got, it's just locking up, moving around. Can I get out? No, right. If I move here, yep, okay, cool. I mean, when I had Jim on, on his episode, he did like 30 minutes of just chain wrestling with Liam in training one time. And he just said it was invaluable. It's just like, anytime you get a one-to-one with Liam, obviously, it's priceless. Oh, it's not priceless, but it's invaluable. Obviously, it comes for a price. But yeah, just being able to do that and just seeing how everything works, where to move. And obviously, massive shout out to Axel and Freaky as well, obviously at ringside.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like, so it wasn't 100% pure. It wasn't just these two guys being technical wizards. We had a bit of something for your eyes on the outside as well, something to sort of lighten the mood. You get Axel and Freaky out there. Your eyes are always kind of going to drift over to see like what they're doing, especially Freaky. Freaky never stands still. She's always doing something. You're always kind of like, and then you look back at the ring again, kind of thing.
Yeah. Those two are like the equivalent of like cartoon characters in wrestling. They're so unpredictable. You never know what they're gonna do next. And I was checking over my side of like, what's Axel got in his hand? I didn't know it was like it looked like hairspray, but had like a different shape to it.
No, it was shaving gel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was shit.
like beard cream.
Yeah.
And then Freaky bringing out weird saws and going, it's trying to help the coach. I got some laughs out of me.
Bit of a comical twist.
Really.
Yeah, I found it really entertaining, me, and obviously them two adding that little bit of comical twist to it and all. You know, I thought it. For me, I'm a big fan of Axel. You know, and I think when you watch him, you know, obviously both of them, but when you watch him, he's a comedy genius really when it comes to being in that ring, innit, or outside the ring.
Yeah, everything's on point. The timing is exactly where it should be. Nothing's ever missed. There's no opportunity that's not there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just while we're talking about it, I just want to shout out. I know I've heard obviously Freaky Felicia is making her return. I believe she's booked at Tidal for January. That is amazing. I just want to say congratulations. I know she's been out with an injury for a long time. It's probably felt like a really long road. It's been hellish. It's been, gnarly. But yeah, to have her back in the ring, I'm sure the fans at Tidal will be more than happy to see it and welcome her back with open arms, kind of thing. And she'll get a great reaction, basically.
Well, that's great news. You might get a few more, but they might obviously get some more bums on seats because of that, because that does interest me, because obviously I'm a big fan of hers, of both of them, but definitely getting her to, if she's definitely going back to ring, I might support that one.
Cool.
So.
But yeah, so obviously this kind of like we've talked about it. We've got the main event coming up. Was again not having known, not nobody really being announced. No idea. Like, we've had 4 matches. Like, main event time. Not got a clue who's in the main event. So obviously, then first person that comes out is Myles Kayman. Awesome. I've not seen Myles, but I've seen Myles in North, BWR, other places, kind of thing. But I've never really seen him around Pursuit. So that was a nice surprise. We like Myles. Goth Boy comes out. That popped me huge. Anytime I get to see Joe Wade, happy Nick. And then obviously, the man himself, Nathan Black. If somebody else wants to do it, because I can never do it justice. There we go. Thank you. So yeah, we had. They just said earlier actually it was going to be on a 3-on-3, tag match, 6-man match. So team 1, Joe Wade, Myles Kayman, Nathan Black. Who's the second team going to be? Then we got Gene Munny comes out. Kid Lykos 2 comes out. And then obviously the big boy himself. One team's got the Goth Boy. This team's got the Goth Father. So Kemper comes out. And it's just, stood in the ring, face to face. What an image. What a sight. Just all 6 of those guys stood in the ring together. Loved it.
It was like watching A Tale of Two Titans, just the way that they started the match and they were just standing there, just looking and we're just waiting who's going to make the first move. And then Nathan doing characteristic stuff, just like, oh, big boy. Ooh, big boy.
Oh, before we get into the match, I just want to acknowledge Nathan's shenanigans or shithousery or whatever you want to call it. When Ethan was trying to announce the members of the other team, like Kid Lykos 1 came out first, and Nathan was like, little boy. And then Gene Munny came out, and he's like, medium-sized boy. And then Kemper came out, he's like, yeah, to be fair, he's a big boy.
Yeah, it's good for the it's good for the pop on that, isn't it? It's good. I think he's probably one of the top heels in country. He's got to be, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he knows how to. I mean, he did well today. Did well this time. I don't think he threw out at anybody. I didn't think he had any buns out throwing at anybody today, did he? On that. Did he throw out?
He threw a vest. That was about it. I think.
Vest. Yeah, we'll get away with vest.
He put hands on Brody again, though, didn't he?
That's it.
Yep, that's right. After last time, I thought I was done with him.
Nope.
On my birthday weekend, True Grit Nightmare, I was just playing about with him, going, size, choking, like, what are you doing, Sledge? But yeah, he decided to put his hands on me again. I didn't take too kindly to it. I was about to throw hands. I had to be held back by Mama Sledge and Nephew Sledge. But I won't say much to ruin, but you'll see what happens. It's a big surprise.
Whee!
Yeah.
Brody's the size magnet, aren't you? Loves
Yeah.
it. Can't stay away from it.
Attracting all the size.
But I'll let you guys talk about this one as well, obviously, because whoever wants to go first. But yeah, 3-on-3 tag match, 6 of the best guys. You know, I say 6 of the best guys in the country. Everybody on this card is potentially like, you know, some of the best in the country kind of thing. So that goes without saying. But you know, 6 very cool names. That just they just worked really well together as well. Like everything kind of works. Obviously, Nathan against Gene worked. Nathan against Kemper worked. Lykos against Joe Wade worked. Lykos against Myles Kayman. Just the whole dynamics. Everything was covered. You know, speed, strength, character work, comedy, aggression. It ticked all the boxes.
100%. I thought it was pretty smooth the way that they all interacted with each other and how they all bounced off each other. You know, I didn't see any like flaws or any botches or I just saw it flowing really well. And I just thought it just, for me, again, you know, like you said, TikTok boxes, but it just, you know, it went from, you know, it took the crowd up, it took you down, and you know, and obviously towards the end we got a nice bit of an entertaining finish. But for me, it just, everyone played their part and did what they needed to do. I don't think anybody were in the dark on the at all in the match. If you get my point,
Yeah.
you know, everybody had their little bit of time to
Yeah.
shine and that, you know, which is great to see. Do you know what I mean?
Brody, did you appreciate the raspberry segment?
Yeah, I did.
Dude.
It's really funny. Just Gene gave Lykos, Kemper rallied up. Was like, ready, raspberry. That's 1. That's 2. And Kemper's hesitation of like, do I do it?
Yeah.
Do I do it? Everyone's like, do it. Go for the raspberry.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Never expected it, but that's the magic of PPW for you.
Yeah, a bit too close to belly button fluff for me. I don't know if it had been one for me.
At least nobody choked on it like afterwards.
No.
Because yeah, if anybody's gonna have fluff, I can imagine Nathan having quite an excessive amount of belly. But I don't know where that thought came from, but yeah, I can kind of imagine. I can't unimagine it now, which is quite scary. But there's Nathan's reaction afterwards as well. Though Kemper did it, and then Nathan just looked around like, "What the was that? Seriously?" Like, yeah, raspberry. But then obviously, yeah, you know, we had the moments like that, but then we just had, you know, the explosions, the aggressiveness, the, you know, like so it said, yeah, Boppa, you nail on the head. Everybody got a time, you know, everybody got to show what they can do, what they bring to the table. It was just, yeah, again, it's the perfect, it sums up the whole show, really. You know, everybody looked great. Everybody was on top form. Everybody was having fun as well, though, whilst doing it. You know, having fun didn't take away from the quality. It was still amazing quality. But I think, you know, you could just tell as an audience, obviously you guys probably could tell more than I could because you know them better than I do. But everybody was just smiling. I don't think I've ever seen Kemper smile as much. I mean, at the end, when you know, they did the 3 Dudley boys what's up kind of thing, I've got a photo and Kemper's just got a massive smile on his face. So I was like, wow.
It's the most human I've ever seen Kemper, because every time I see him in the match, he's just this big, scary godfather. I'm like, oh god, please don't hurt me. But yeah, we saw him, the human side of the Godfather, if you will, just smiling and having a good time.
Loved it.
Definitely.
Sorry, Bob, I was going to say, but I still don't think I saw Joe Wade smile.
No, maybe another day.
Definitely, yeah. But what about the finish then? What about the end bit? What, you know, the bizarre? You know, go on, Brody. We'll let you.
Yeah. The finish of it was a bit nuts. Try not to give too much away, but
no, dude, like I said, this is going to get uploaded on the Wednesday. I think I've got a picture of it, mate, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen as we're talking.
I want to put it as Skylar Rose got a revenge on Nathan, which was really happy to see. I saw the promos leading up to it.
It's been coming, hasn't it?
I've trained with Sky before, and seeing her confidence grow is just amazing to me. she's the workhorse of PPW for a reason.
I like that.
You know, Nathan's really good at gifting people. Obviously, people who work hard, he'll give people some, little segments that'll just raise their profile. And I was pleased to see that he were going to give it to Sky. You know what I mean? Because she just, she deserved that spot. And I'm sure at some point, Brody, you'll get your turn.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
working on it.
definitely. I mean, there's huge receipts. I'm counting the receipts that Brody owes Nathan now. I'm like, bloody hell.
Got a target on my back, but all I can say is Nathan wants a challenge from me. He knows where to find me.
Yeah.
There we go. But that was the thing. Oh, well, I'm thinking about it as well. Obviously, it's not been put on the socials for the public yet, but spoiler alert, I'm going to mention it. The True Grit newsletter came out today, and it had a picture of the Rumble poster, and had none other than Big Boppa is on the True Grit Rumble poster.
Yeah. I'm back.
Bubbles.
So Bubbles are back. Yeah, so I'm doing I'll be putting a promo out in next, probably do one tomorrow for it, and obviously that'll be up and running and that. But yeah, I'm on it. So, and I'm looking forward to it. What can I say? I said this on my own podcast. That if you're in the right place and you're with the right people help you get to where you need to be. And I think me going down to PPW and obviously being on Planet shows and stuff. Without me going to PPW, I'm not going to Planet. And without me being on Planet and stuff like that, I wouldn't have been involved. I wouldn't have been introduced to JC and I'm doing all right. So I'm quite happy.
Dude, more than all right, mate. There's been humble, right. And then there's you're doing awesome, mate.
I can't complain. So get the bubbles out, and hopefully I'll be able to reward JC's, and get some bums on seats for him. Fingers crossed.
Well, I mean, if you really want to reward him, I'm sure he won't be opposed to if you get rid of like Inserico or Nash and Ace. If you want to be like, the muscle for the regime for the one night, then that might get you a good favour.
That might cost him a bit more. That means I have to get rid of bubbles, doesn't it? Then that won't really work with the bubbles, but yeah, I'd have to do that one. I don't know if I could ever be a heel.
Nah.
I started off as a heel. Honestly, I started off as a heel, but I got our biggest pop for a heel that they were all clapping and cheering me, so I couldn't be a heel. And that's where I was convinced, and Liam's like, "Nah, you can't be a heel. You're Big Daddy in the making. You know what I mean? You're the new Big Daddy. I'll say that."
There we go. Do that is it exactly. Brody, that's the thing, man. Obviously, going forward as well, you're gonna have to start thinking about, obviously Nathan picking on you all the time. It might be worth aligning self. Do you stick to the good side? Do you stick to the bad side? That's a story to be told in the future.
That's the problem. Just it could be a bit of like me trying to stick to my morals. But the more Nathan keeps pushing me, the more I'm having to hold off the evil side of me. Because I'm SledgeBro. He's a nice guy. He's helping out PPW. He loves helping out his friends, but the evil side, he just wants to fight.
There's always a line, man. There's always a line. So, guys, obviously, we've sat here and talked about the show. I think everybody's in agreement. It was amazing. It was awesome. As I sort of said, this will be getting uploaded on the Wednesday. It will be it is on PPW's YouTube channel now. If you haven't seen it, then, well, that's on you. We haven't, sorry for any spoilers, but you should have watched it first before watching this. But go watch it anyway. Even if you know the results, even if you know a few moments, it doesn't take anything away from the quality of the matches, from the fun of the matches. You will still have a massive smile on your face after watching the show. So please go watch it on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you don't already. Show some support to Pursuit and everybody involved, in Pursuit as well. Amazing group of human beings. Anything else you guys want to say about the show whilst you're here?
What I say, Brody, is me and you've got matching tops on. Maybe there might be a bit of a tag team there, Brody.
Yeah. I can see
I
it.
can see that.
The Sledge and Bopper connection.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bubbles
Oh.
and hammers galore. Let's
That's it.
go.
We'll
I'm
have
up for it.
Hammer bubbles, bubble hammers, bubble bros,
Hammers.
bubble bros.
Bubble Bros.
By the way.
Drop the sledge, bubble
The
bros.
Bubble Bros.
Bubble
That's it,
Bros.
Spawn.
Yes.
It's Spawn.
Right, that's our official tag name now. Bubble Bros. Damn it.
My work here is done.
Well, I'll say this year, I'm looking forward to watching it again because obviously the beats that you miss, I always watch stuff 2 or 3, 4 times, and really soak it all in. But I'm looking forward to watching it again. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you do.
Yes, exactly. Brody, any parting words of wisdom? Tell people to go watch it or whatever you want to do.
The other thing I've got to say is, if you were there, if you couldn't be there live, getting to watch it on YouTube is just a bonus treat because you'll see the excitement that PPW brings every single time. I've said this once, I'll say it again. PPW is just one big happy family, except our love language is slamming each other into the mat.
I would be amiss as well. I do want to shout out Munny Benjamin and Mr. Ricky, who, where I was sat right next to the commentary booth. So I was watching the action. I was entertained, but I could hear those guys as well. And I always had a stupid smile on my face. I kept kind of just randomly laughing. If anybody was looking at me, they're like, what the hell is he laughing at? I was just laughing at them too. You know, some of the lines they were coming out with, the commentary. So it's another reason as well to watch it on YouTube, you know, to hear those guys do the commentary. It was just on point, you know, so that massive shout out to them as well. As you sort of said, you know, to the lighting guy, to the sound guy, to Matty Hurst as well, and everybody, you know, that's just involved in PPW. You know, you guys, the guys that do all the technical stuff, it's just, yeah, absolutely smashing it. Knocking it out of the park. I can't think of enough positive descriptions or words to kind of do it justice. So yeah.
What I'll say is, obviously after the show, I messaged Nathan the day after saying, with this little, I always say this, but I think you might need a bigger boat. You know, you might need a bigger venue because he's proper smashed it out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I need a bigger. That's the saying. You're going to need a bigger boat.
Going to need a bigger boat. But I've heard the next one's going to be in February, so I will keep my eyes peeled when they start talking about it.
I better get saving because for my hotels.
Just I'm trying to think. That's the thing as well, because where it is as well. Then I guess obviously you're gonna have to sort of venture back to the middle of Sheffield, aren't you? Sheffield Centre to.
Yeah, I don't do driving longer than that. You know, by the time it's finishing that, I don't like driving too much in dark up way home and that. So I'd rather what we did. We got a Premier in, shared it between 4 of us.
There you go. You get a decent breakfast and then your job's good. You can the morning after sit at breakfast talking about the awesomeness of the show the night before. So
that's it.
Guys, if you want to let people know where they can find you on the socials, more than likely, probably obviously Instagram is the main source of information at the minute, just with the awesomeness of the reels or the pictures from shows. Brody, you go first.
So where you can find more of me is I've got the Instagram, Almighty SledgeBro. I've got Facebook, the SledgeBro, and I'm also I've set up a TikTok account as well. Free place where you can find the Almighty Sledge in action.
Yeah. How much?
Yeah, I've got Instagram Big Bopper 1919, and then I've got the Juggernaut Big Bopper on Facebook. I could do with doing an Instagram one, but I find it a bit confusing. I will get one up and running just for Big Bopper, but proper wrestling one. But it's just my own one. But yeah, it's Big Bopper 19. I do have a TikTok account. I think that's Big Bopper as well. So I've got them all up and running.
Across the board, just search for the guys. If you're not following them, please hit that follow button, show them some support, and obviously you know who we are, or hopefully you know who we are. If you don't, then I ain't going to tell you. You know where we are. Obviously this will be uploaded, so let's say on Wednesday. Yeah, as always, I've got to that point now. I'm just overhyped. I'm talking about wrestling. I can't fathom words or sentences together anymore. So I will say hit like, subscribe, share, comment, all the generic stuff we ask you to do. Keep your eyes peeled. I've just started doing guest announcements for the end of this month and the start of next year as well. I've just been talking to Shreddy today, so he has said that he would come on and talk to me. So we've got Shreddy coming next year. We've got Billy O'Keefe coming in a couple of weeks as well. So yeah, it's just good times. But yeah, thank you for watching. And gentlemen, if you'd like to say goodbye.
See ya.
And yeah, remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.